Just hours away from a blizzard warning going into effect. That goes into effect at 10 o'clock this morning. Winds will be 50 plus for 12 hours, and we will get a decent amount of snow even along the Front Range. We will show you exactly what to expect hour by hour in the next 4.5 hours.
Why hasn't the United States grounded the 737 MAX 8? I'm Doug Luzader in Washington. We'll have more on that Ethiopian Airlines crash coming up.
And a grocery store strike looming. What could affect shoppers across the state when workers could hit the picket lines?
Live from Denver, this is Fox 31 News at 4:30.
4:30 on your Wednesday, a very busy day. Thanks for joining us here on the Fox 31 Morning News. I'm Megan O'Halloran.
And I'm Kirk Yonke. We got to get right to that pinpoint weather alert day, already having a big impact on kids out there.
Yeah, plenty of schools planning ahead, canceling classes last night instead of waiting until this morning. All of the big ones in the Denver metro area closed today, and we'll be running a ticker at the bottom of your screen with all of those school closures that we've already been notified about. You can also check those school closings on our website. We have a running list right now at KDVR.com.
It's been a long time since we've had schools canceled, this many schools canceled ahead of a storm, a blizzard warning covering most of the metro. So let's get to your traffic and your weather out there. Hank Carey is in for Sam meteorologist Greg Dutra. Watching this thing closely, Greg. Obviously, timing is everything for this storm.
It is. In the next 6 hours, honestly, you can go and get a couple errands done. If you got to run out and get some things handled out, kind of tied up before the blizzard does develop. And the blizzard warning goes into effect at 10 o'clock this morning. I expect conditions to be falling apart pretty quickly by then, and after noon you are not going to want to head out because winds will be up and over 50 miles per hour. They'll stay there all the way through the midnight hour, and we'll be getting snow on top of that. 4 to 8 inches of snow along the Front Range, 4 inches over on the west side of town, getting up to 8 or more inches over on the east side of town, with 6 to 12 inch totals expected out on the eastern plains and south too as you head down to the Palmer Divide. This morning, exactly what we told you it was going to be like, just wet, kind of calm early before the storm really kicks into gear. But here's your hour-by-hour forecast, and I laid that blizzard warning over it again, going into effect at 10 o'clock this morning. So you've got the next few hours to get what you need to get done before you have to hunker down, or at least you should hunker down, as visibility will be near zero. It's not so much the snowfall. We get 4 to 8 inches of snow all the time around here. It's the fact that you are not going to be able to see even as you drive around the metro area by about noontime today, Hank.
Yeah, this is not a drill.
No.
Right? Make sure that your gas tank is filled this morning. Make sure that your windshield washer fluid is filled this morning. Make sure that you are prepared for this storm. Hopefully you don't have to go out in it. In the meantime, if you are heading out right now, heading up into the high country, we do have winter weather conditions along the I-70 corridor, making your way from Georgetown on the way over towards Vail Pass. And across the Denver roadways, we are dealing with wet road conditions this morning. We check in with the Fine Airport parking cam, and look at that, you can barely see the Westin Hotel off in the distance because there's so much fog, there's so much drizzle happening out there at the airport. A lot of cancellations, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But guys, just one stat about DIA this morning: 89% of Southwest Airlines flights have been canceled.
Oh, wow.
Huge number. Thanks,
Going to impact a lot of
Yeah.
people. Keep it here at Fox 31. We're going to continue our team coverage for you throughout the morning, even when those other stations switch over to the hours-old newscast out in New York. Definitely a day you want to keep it local.
Yeah, we're going to keep it live and local till 9 o'clock this morning, and of course throughout the day, KDVR.com. Pinpoint meteorologist Christine Rapp, she is in the Weather Beast. Christine, I know there's not much happening right now, but this is quite the storm moving in later this morning.
Oh, absolutely. And already down here in Douglas County, we've had the rain and as well as some breezy conditions. Of course, we're out here with the Beast. Our temperatures are still just a little too warm. We've had light rain down here in the Castle Pines area for the past couple of hours, but 37 degrees. You guys know that's just a little bit too warm to be dealing with any snow. Now, I-25 here behind us, of course, this rain doesn't really help crews. They've been out, CDOT that is, making sure these roads are treated before this system moves through. Sometimes this rain can wash away some of the treatment they put down. So we'll monitor these conditions out here for you. There's more than about 180 snowplows already out dropping some of the treatment. And again, just trying to get out ahead of this system and make sure that these roads are as treatable as possible. But right now, still just Little too warm down here in Douglas County, which of course is one of the many districts that have canceled school for the day ahead. We're going to continue to stay down here in Dougco, and we'll check in with you guys here in about a half hour. For now, though, reporting live in Castle Pines, meteorologist Christine Rapp, Fox 31.
Yeah, my kids are down there in Douglas County and very happy to be sleeping in on this Wednesday morning. Christine, thank you so much. We'll check in throughout the morning there. Meantime, Denver International Airport, airlines there have canceled more than 880 flights in preparation for this storm. That was as of 9 o'clock last night, according to FlightAware. Southwest Airlines canceling 367 flights in and out of DIA starting at 8:30 this morning. That's 89% of its total for the day, as Hank mentioned. Frontier and United have also canceled flights in and out of DIA, with United issuing a travel waiver for Wednesday and Thursday.
And DIA representatives say they are closely monitoring the storm, and snow removal crews are ready to jump into action when that snow begins to pile up. De-icing crews are already on standby, and as always, check with your airline if you are planning to fly out during this storm.
All right, so we're going to get back to the coverage of the Pinpoint Weather Alert Day, but first, some other news and new developing this morning. The union representing King Soopers workers getting ready to vote on whether or not they should walk off the job. Union members will vote on Thursday and Friday on the strike. They have been working under their old contract since January. They're demanding better pay. They want more pay, working weekends, and better benefits. So we will be following this. We'll let you know the results of that vote later this week, how it could impact your next shopping trip.
New details in the death of a man following a road rage incident in Loveland. Fox 31 has learned no charges will be filed in the case. Last month, 2 drivers pulled over after they did not like the way the other was driving. A passenger, Joseph Wheeler, got out and approached the other driver, Marcus Bosch. According to the DA's office, Wheeler threw an open oil container on Bosch's car. Bosch says he got out of his car, and Wheeler continued to threaten him. Bosch put Wheeler in a chokehold. Wheeler later died. The DA's office not charging Bosch, saying he was justified in his need to defend himself. Pressure growing on U.S. airlines and regulators to ground the 737 MAX 8 jets that have now been involved in 2 horrific incidents.
A lot of people asking, why are those planes still flying in the U.S.? But as Doug Luzader reports from Washington this morning, both Boeing and the FAA standing their ground.
More and more countries around the world now are banning or grounding the 737 MAX 8. The 2 notable exceptions, Canada and the United States. A memorial comes together in Ethiopia. As just a short distance away, investigators continue their work in the wreckage of Flight 302. And the jet in question, the Boeing 737 MAX 8, is now in the crosshairs.
We decided the appropriate step was to suspend the operations temporarily.
Aviation authorities around the world are not taking chances with the 737 MAX 8, now involved in 2 strikingly similar accidents in Ethiopia and in Indonesia last year. But so far, the FAA, U.S. airlines that fly the plane, and Boeing are behind the aircraft, suggesting that early problems have been addressed. And Boeing said this: the Federal Aviation Administration is not mandating any further action at this time, and based on the information currently available, we do not have any basis to issue new guidance to operators. Some in Congress are not convinced.
I think it makes sense to ground the aircraft until we have better information.
Ground these planes until the FAA has a chance to review their safety.
President Trump spoke with Boeing CEO Dennis Muhlenberg after tweeting, "Airplanes are becoming far too complex to fly." But many familiar with the aircraft back the FAA's decision.
There is no systemic problem. I don't care what Mr. Romney says. I don't care what Congress says or what they say in Australia that operates none of these airplanes. There is no systemic reason to ground this airplane.
And the truth is, we don't know yet what brought this aircraft down. Authorities in Ethiopia have recovered the black box flight recorders and say they are being sent overseas. They didn't say where. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Thanks, Doug. Avalanche season is in very high gear right now. We've all seen the incredible video over the last several days and several weeks.
And now we're hearing from the people who got caught in some of these dangerous slides, the harrowing experiences in their own words.
Pinpoint Weather Alert Day. Let's take a live look outside, guys. It's too warm for snow right now, so you may be seeing rain, but the switchover happens this morning. We've got the Weather Beast out there watching for it. We've got multiple reporters in multiple locations. And, of course, meteorologist Greg Dutra tracking it hour by hour right after this quick break.
Good morning, everyone. It's 4:40 now, and we're taking a look at what is going on, the lay of the land on this pinpoint weather day, just in case you got to get out early and you're worried about it snowing where you're headed. It is not snowing along the Front Range just yet. I-25 featuring rain showers. Same deal off to the south. You notice that little blip here earlier of some snow down in Douglas County. That has since disappeared off of the radar screen with temps that are running well into the 30s and some even in the 40s to kick it off. Mountains are seeing snowfall, and I've heard some rumblings back there that portions of the highway are closed. We'll talk to Hank about that more. But here are those temperatures. We have a ways to go.